dear colleagues, I think it's time to start our webinar. Thank you for attending in this webinar. Thank you that you found time for it. My name is Alexey Moiseyev. I'm a customer consultant from Elsevier. A couple of words about my background. Before Elsevier, I was working in several pharmaceutical companies, even in big pharma group. Also, I was working in a company producer of medical equipment, and I'm a specialist in quality control. Today we will discuss how Embase will help you in writing systematic review, improve your decision making in your clinical practice, and how it will help in innovative treatment. But before we will start, I want to give a couple of words to my colleague Andrei Khudoshin, and he will give you some details about the seminar that was organized. Andrei, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, dear colleagues. Thank you for joining. And I highly appreciate the availability and this opportunity to discuss with you how Elsevier big data databases focused on chemistry, on medicinal chemistry and medicine is supporting researchers around the Egypt. So our webinar is the 5th webinar, which we done together with EKB to explain more about Reaxys and Embase. Right now, via EKB, Reaxys and Embase from Elsevier is available. Both databases are available till the end of July, and we already done several webinars to support researchers to make them easy to understand how to use databases, what is the use cases, what is the workflows. And as a part of this, I encourage you to visit our landing pages. So this is the landing page for Embase. This is the landing page for Reaxys. I advise you to make screenshots or just the copy by your telephone while I explaining you what exactly is the landing page. On our landing page, we collect all the materials about databases. So on the Embase landing page, you can find some fact sheets about database. What is also very important, you can find some workflows, user manuals, and guides how to use Embase. For Reaxys is almost the same. On the Reaxys web page, you can download the fact sheet, you can download the workflows, you can download the user guides, and what is also very important, both these pages, this one for Embase, landing page for Embase, this one landing page for Reaxys. Again, who just joined, please make the picture of this slide because you may benefit from these links. These pages contain the recordings of the webinar which we already done. So first webinar was done to explain how Reaxys can support the food research, agricultural research, water treatment research, to protect plant, cattle, etc. The second research was focused on preparing high quality systematic review and clinical trials. The third webinar was very interesting, and we have huge amount of participants. It was about the novel and generic drugs, and it explained how Reaxys, how Embase can support drug repositioning. how they can support drug repositioning. And the main examples was connected for sure to COVID-19, but also to other diseases like hepatitis C, HIV, antineoplastic, and other. Yesterday, we have also very interesting webinar, which was connected to green chemistry, to principles of green chemistry, to environment research, and how reactors can help to implement it. And today we have the webinar about high quality systematic reviews, clinical trials, clinical practice, decision making, and how Embase can support it. Again, I encourage you to make use the copy of these slides, because with this you can get the access to Embase landing page, to the Reaccess landing page, and you can get all the materials. During the webinar in Zoom, we have a special platform to discuss your question. If you have any question, please don't use chat. Please use Q&A tab. Please ask your question in Q&A tab, because in this case, they would be logged, and we will do our best to answer the questions right now during the webinar. But if we wouldn't be able to do it, we will answer you later by email. And again, please feel free to make picture of this screenshot to be able to watch this webinar later in a couple of days, and already webinars which already passed from the landing pages. And with this, I would like to give the word to my colleague Shalan Khalid, who will explain and show how exactly you can get access to Embase and to the Reaccess using the EKB platform.
Thank you, Andre. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Khalid Charan. I'm Elsevier Core Resource Solutions Consultant for the region of Africa. I hope that I've heard that some people had some feedback on the voice volume. I hope it is better now. Otherwise, please go to your audio settings on your devices and please try to increase the volume bar. Also, it might help, and we would strongly recommend, especially if you're using your mobile phones, to use headphones. Sometimes Zoom application volume is not very high, so we strongly recommend that you use headphones for this. So as we were speaking now, for the topic of our presentation today, I'm going to be showing you how you could access Embase using the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. So first of all, you should be able to see my screen now. And as you can see, the website for the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is ekb.eg. I know that you have used this website already. You've used the events tab here to find out about the events being organized in coordination with EKB. So it includes all events being organized and all upcoming events for upcoming months as well. You can find them on the events tab on the EKB. To create an account, if you already don't have an account, you would need to register. So if I click on register, I will get 4 main portals that I can use to create an account on EKB. Of the 4, the 2 that are most important to us are either the scientific research and higher education, which is specialized for university and research centers, research staff and the teaching staff. And we have the readers, which is designated to all Egyptian citizens. So any Egyptian citizen with a national ID can have access to the reader portal. Basic education, this is for schools, and kids, this is for kids from age of 6 years to 14 years old. So the most premium portal of which the portal with all the options, and it's the most high level of membership or account on EKB, is the scientific research and higher education. And it is divided to 2 main users. So if I click on next here, there is one portal for university and research centers staff members, and the other one is for university students. Since university students now, especially with the lockdown, they have to do their, instead of examinations, they have to do research assignments. So this is why the university student portal was created. Initially, or in most of times, it requires the student have a student ID, but to help support students with the current lockdowns and with the research assignments be taking place instead of examinations, so they can create an account directly as a university student with just clicking here and filling out their details. For university research centers, university and research centers staff members, if I click on this, the first thing that will happen, it will try to detect what kind of internet connection I'm using. And you can see here, so I'm seeing this message because my internet connection is from home. So I'm not connected to my university or to the research center I'm affiliated with. And thus, I will have to confirm that I am affiliated with a university or a research center, alternatively, by using my professional email. So a professional email that ends with edu.eg, sci.eg.gov.eg, or plp.eg. So edu.eg is educational, related to universities. Sci.eg is related to research centers, and gov.eg is for governmental institutions. PLP is the Presidential Leadership Program. So if you have an email ending with any of those four suffixes, you would click on here to override the condition for the need to be connected to your university or your research institution network or your IP range. The second step will be similar to all portals: first name, last name, email, confirm email, mobile number, and national ID and birth date. One thing that's very important, since each Egyptian citizen has one national ID, you can only create one account. So if you have created an account already as a reader because you had a problem with your institutional email, or you were not connected to your IP range, or as a student you weren't aware that you could create a student account, you can always upgrade your account from one level to the other. So your account can move on from being a reader to a school student to a researcher account, and it's easy to change or upgrade your account. Another thing that is important, you are not being asked for a password here. It will be sent to you later on. If I click on next, the next page will ask me for professional details, my affiliation as a student or as a research staff member, and this is only specific to academic accounts. And then there will be a CAPTCHA or an image that has a number in it, and I'll have to put in the number and to confirm my registration. I will receive an email to activate my account with a one-time password. That means it's a password that's used for the first time you log in onto EKB, and then you will be prompted to change that password into the password you'll use after that. And it's very important that you have to complete your registration within 72 hours of the registration. You have to go to your email, find the confirmation email with the link and the one-time password, and use them within 72 hours. If you don't confirm your registration within 72 hours, your registration is canceled and you'll have to register a new account. Also, if you have any issue with an account that you were logged out of and you've lost access to the password and the email you've created this with, it's a very difficult process. So we strongly advise that you use emails and accounts that you will be able to access later on. But if that happens, you can always contact EKB support@ekb.eg, or you can click on here and find this email as well. Just a few, one last pointer about EKB is that EKB is only, this platform is only accessible within Egypt. So you cannot access ekb.eg platform from outside Egypt. Also, if you are using any special software that is masking your IP or making your IP appear from outside Egypt, like a VPN or something like that, you would need, your IP has to be visible to be part of Egypt to be able to access this platform from from within only Egypt. So without further ado, what happens if I'm logged in or I already have an account and I click on sign in? This is how it would look like. And as you can see here, this is the EKB and I'm already signed in. It's showing this logo here or this microscope icon showing that my account is a researcher account. What I will need to do is to go to sources, all sources, and I'll be able to see the entire list of resources that are available on EKB, and you can see the 4 portals here, in addition to an additional portal where the Egyptian journals are being hosted. A lot of Egyptian journals are being hosted currently on ekb.eg. So this is a list of all the publishers of all the service providers that are being partnered with EKB. So you can access content from all those publishers and service providers for free, once again. And one thing that you need to know is that all Elsevier solutions are available under Elsevier, with few exceptions. So if I click on Elsevier here, these are the list of products by Elsevier that you can access, as well as an introduction of what Elsevier is. If I click on any of those, I can open solutions like ScienceDirect or Scopus or Clinical Key or engineering solutions with subscriptions that are being assigned with the subscriptions that are provided by the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. As you can see here, Embase, as well as 2 other Elsevier solutions, Novel and Reaxis, are available separately because all those 3 solutions are available only for a limited period of time: Embase, Novel, and Reaxis. And the last solution of which is SciVal. SciVal is only available to researcher accounts. So if you are using a reader account, you cannot access SciVal. However, you can still access currently Reaxis, Novel, Embase, and all Elsevier solutions listed here, including Clinical Key. So to access, because our topic today revolves about using Embase for systematic reviews and other applications as well, what I would need to do is click on Embase here, and remember that all those resources are arranged alphabetically. So Embase is next to Elsevier here. If I click on Embase, I have an introduction or a description of what Embase is. The list of products listed is Embase, and there is a notifying that this is a trial product that's available for a limited period of time till the end of July. If I click on here, I now can land on, I now can land on onto Embase. And with that, I'll be relaying over to Alexei to begin our workshop, the main event for our workshop today, discussing high-quality systemic reviews, innovative treatments, and improvement of decision-making in clinical practice using Embase. Thank you so much. And here's back to you, Alexei.
Thank you, Khalid. First, I want to tell you what is Embase. Embase is universal, multi-purpose and regular update biomedical research database. It covers biomedical literature from 1947 to present days, and you can use it to find information, clinical related information about adverse drug events, drugs, medical devices, diseases, and other things. I will show you today several samples. And Embase gives you immediately access to a range of intuitive search tools that will help you to find exactly that you need and what is exactly needed for your research, and very fast and easily. Main users of this database, of course, is pharmaceutical companies, producers of medical equipment, and of course, academia and medical universities and educational organizations. Mainly it's used for systematic reviews and for clinical evaluation. Why so it's so hard to find the data? Why the internet search is not enough and not you are not able to find everything that you need in the internet? At first, it's necessary to analyze huge amount of information. At the moment, published about 40 million articles and documents in this field, and every year published about 3 million of new articles. And this really huge amount of information, and free internet tools not allow to really analyze all this amount. And what is also important, you cannot miss anything. You should analyze absolutely everything, and free internet tools also not give the guarantee that you are not missed something. Tools like Google Scholar, PubMed, very often giving negative result. But if you are using Embase, it's really giving you comprehensive results and give flexible tools that gives you a possibility to find reproducible and documentable result. I will explain you why. At the moment, Embase is the most comprehensive biomedical database that existing. It's including more than about 36 million records from a lot of journals, and also more than from 2 million conferences, abstract of the conferences, and what's all content of Medline is included into the Embase, and what is very important that non-English content is covered by Embase much better than by Medline. Embase include biomedical information extracted from literature in care areas of diseases, drugs, medical devices. It's including pharmacology, toxicology, clinical medicine, genetics, molecular biology, oncology, health policy, cardiology, and other important fields. As I was told before, all Medline content is included into the Embase, and also content from about 3,000 unique journals also included into the Embase and not existing in Medline. It's really important things, and also Embase have a lot of tools, unique tools for finding information, and a very important moment is indexation. Embase indexation of the literature performed by professionals, by human that are reading articles and indexing information manually. It's the main difference between Medline and Embase. In this slide, you can see the coverage of Embase in different languages: Chinese, German, French, Spanish, Japanese, and Turkish, and other languages. And you see that coverage on non-English content always much better in Embase, because it's manually indexed, and owners of the language or doing this indexation. it's especially true for coverage of the most important documents such as randomized controlled trials. For example, on this slide you can see that in Chinese, Medline contains Embase contains on 50% more information than Medline, and it means if you are using Medline, you miss this 50% of information, and it means that your systematic reviews based on the information that you're getting from Medline miss this 50% of documents from China, and also from other countries, from other languages. The same story with medical devices. If you use Medline, systematic reviews related, you also miss a lot of information. One sample trying to show the difference between open and free databases like Google and Medline in compared to Embase. It's three terms: furadantine with E at the end. Ivadantine was entering into these three databases, but result totally different. But in reality, these three words are totally same, and databases should give the same result. And you see that only Embase giving this result. No, for Embase, no difference, because it's giving the same result, not depending from the terms that you're entering. And you're totally able to control what you search. It's a third seminar about Embase that we are talking about Embase, and I don't want today speak a lot and compare this database with others. But if you want more information, please go to Research Academy, enter the claim code that's shown on this slide, and you will get more information and also detailed the comparison between Embase and PubMed, when you can find what's the different in content and different in taxonomy and other things. You will be sure why it's better to use Embase when you're working on systematic reviews. Please use this link, Research Academy /workshop, and this claim code. You can even make a screenshot of the slide and use it to get this information. Also, by this link and by this code, you can get your certificate of attendance of this seminar. As I was talking, the big benefit of Embase is in Embase taxonomy. The name of taxonomy is M3. It's have a lot of terms, a lot of synonyms that helping you find find information. This taxonomy is main difference between Embase and databases like Scopus, like Medline and Google. And I want to show you how it's working. Let's go from our slides to Embase database. My colleague Khalid already shown you how to get access to the Embase. When you're going to the web site AKB, you can get this access. First thing that you will see on the screen, the interface of Embase. As I understand, all the people that attending this webinar first time using it, I will try to show you in very simple form, and my samples will be very simple. here is the interface of Embase. First, quick search that you can use for the find of information. But I want to show you M3 and what is the taxonomy. It's always very good instrument to find information. Let's use term, for example, monoclonal antibody. And system give you a hint and find these terms in the database, in the taxonomy. You can immediately find where on which branch of the taxonomy laying this monoclonal antibody. You can go up by the taxonomy and going down by taxonomy. You can clearly understand from where database taking information and giving you results. You can find, or you can see all monoclonal antibodies here, and you can choose the drug that you need if you're interested. Or going up and trying to find other information that more relevant. You can go up by the taxonomy and going down by taxonomy. It's search using taxonomy is very effective, and you can easily take this to query and for drug search and look for needed information and use different other filters. Let's go back to our slides. As I was telling, this taxonomy, this Embase indexing made by is manual process performed by trained indexer with biomedical background, and if article is not in English, native speaker reads and make indexing of the information and make it in English. That's why coverage of Embase of non-English content is much better than in other databases. These slides illustrated the balance of efforts and percentage of relevant documents that you're getting from the database. For example, Google gives you very requires very little efforts and time investment that you need to spend for query, but also you miss key publications. Medline gives better result. In Scopus, you can get better results than in PubMed, but you don't have taxonomy in Scopus. You don't have triple indexing and other things. And Embase giving result close to 100%. What is triple indexing? It's very important moment. These indexers also arrange relationship manually between drugs, adverse drug effects, disease interactions, indications, and other things. And you immediately can have all the picture about drug, about disease, and other things, because all these relations already was done manually by indexer, and you don't need to do this job again. So in Embase, to find full information about safety of drug, drug therapy, drug combination, drug-drug interaction, drug comparison, you don't need to spend a lot of time. You don't need to read a lot of documents. In 5 seconds, you will see full picture about needed drug, medical device, disease, and other things. And all this data can be exported and extracted documents can be exported in Excel or and analyzed by other tools. This triple indexing is very useful for finding specific data on drug, disease, device, device disease semantic relation, and you can use it for searching safety data for drugs or medical devices, investigate potential of development of combination of drugs, searching efficacy data for drugs and performance for devices, and it's a good guide for reporting strategy. For example, you can use it for effective literature search about a medical device or about a drug. If you are at first to collect comprehensive information about drug, you need to collect information about clinical efficacy. You need to compare your drug or medical device with others that already existing in the market, and also you need to collect all information about safety of a drug or medical device that you are trying to make medical review for them. I will show you these three samples, how to find information in efficacy. Start from efficacy. We can very good instrument to do this is the Pika search. Click to Pika search, and here you can see population, intervention, comparison, and outcomes that usually use it in Pika conception. Let's place into the intervention rituximab, for example. A Pika search instrument found this term into the database, and also what is very comfortable, you immediately see here in M3 what is rituximab in different branches of M3 database, and also it giving you opportunity to add to query also synonyms. If we will click add synonyms, it will automatically add all synonyms to rituximab, and also we can switch it one by one, if or use all of them, or switch it by one by one. It is very comfortable way to make this research. And for example, if you interesting to find information about the efficacy, you can in study design you can enter, for example, meta-analysis. Meta-analysis, systematic reviews. Systematic reviews, and probably, and also it give you hints to add synonyms to this term, and you enter also clinical trials. Randomized clinical trials. Randomized clinical trials here. Also, it gives you a hint at synonyms. And here, you will you can click on show results, and here you will have all the information to prepare and clinical efficacy data extracted from this kind of documents. And also, next step that we can make is, sorry. also make with pick search is comparison, for example, with other drugs, or comparison, for example, with placebo. You can add placebo here. Also, system gives you 3 synonyms to word placebo. And also you can take and here you will find about 1000 records related to comparison of this drug with placebo. I want to show you a little bit more about about triple linking and how it's working and how to use it. For example, let's go to a very simple tool, most simple tool that you have in Embase. It's quick search. In quick search, let's enter very well-known drug, for example, paracetamol. Sorry. Yes, and we found all the information about paracetamol here. All this article related to paracetamol, about 100,000 documents. And where is this triple linking, and where is manual related relationship between terms? You can click on drugs, then click to details about paracetamol. All this information extracted, all these terms extracted directly from these 100,000 records. As we was requesting paracetamol is on the first place. Let's click on it. And here you can see case subheadings. It's very easy. If you're interested to find information about safety, you can click on adverse drug reaction and find very fast more than 700 records about adverse drug reactions related to paracetamol. You can find all the adverse drug reactions that related to paracetamol here. This is the number of article from which was extracted information. For example, it's more than 600 records about liver toxicity. If we are interested to read all this article, we can click here, click to apply, and we will find immediately all the article were related to a liver toxicity of paracetamol. Let's come back. Also, what we can find in this triple linking, again, to adverse drug reaction, we can check all the adverse drug reaction that was extracted from all the articles related to paracetamol. We can check all these things, gastroenterological things, and we can export it to Excel file with the number of extracted records from the article and other things. Like you can do everything that you want with these records. Also, there is a filter here for adverse drug reactions. For example, there are a lot of different adverse drug reactions from extracted from articles, and you want to find, for example, dizziness. Here you can enter this and file dizziness here. It will be filtered immediately. It's very comfortable instrument to find information about safety, and also you can be absolutely sure that you will not miss anything because all this information was extracted manually by professionals. Here, most important subheading in Embase, adverse drug reaction, drug combination, drug comparison, drug interaction, drug therapy, where you can find indication. For example, we can click on drug therapy and find all indications. Here, all registered indication and off-label also are here. Everything that was extracted from articles you can find here. Okay, let's go back to slides. Here I've shown several samples how to find information about clinical efficacy, comparison of drugs, and about drug safety. That will help you find information when you're working with the systematic review. Okay, you will find all these samples that I was showing on the slides. Slides also will be available in Research Academy by this this link, and you can find all the slides using if you will use this claim code together with your certificate. It's detailed on the slides. You will find detailed samples how to do all these things that I was showing you. And let's go to another samples. How to find information about post-marketing surveys, for example, information about safety. There are several ways to do it in Embase. First things, you can use special subheading, as I was showing you, adverse drug reaction, special situation for pharmacovigilance, and expected outcome of drugs treatments. It's a good way to find all the information from post-marketing reviews and find pharmacovigilance information. And also in Embase existing special tool, the name of it is PV Wizard. It's specially developed for pharmacovigilance, but it also can help you to find safety-related information. For example, you can enter here the name of your drug, paracetamol we entering. Next step, system also found more than 100 variants of writing of paracetamol. Also, you can use all of them or click and switch one by one if you need it or not. On next step, there are a lot of adverse drug reactions, totally according to GVP and good pharmacovigilance practices. You can change it or you can use it as it is. On the next step, you can, there is a special situation that usually important for pharmacovigilance and safety of drugs. And you can also change it. For example, if you don't need information about pregnancy, if it's for sure drug that will be never used for pregnant women, you can delete it. For example, if it's drug only for men. And next step, you can just, it's a human filter. Usually for safety of drug, not so important information on animals and preclinical studies. And using this filter system, filtering information and use only information related to humans. And you can also change it or use it as it is. And also, you can also limit your request by last 1, 2, 3 years if you want, or records the exact days from the calendar from that you need for request when the articles was published. Okay, and show result. It will be really huge request that totally confirmed for good pharmacovigilance practices, and it's very long, but for sure collect all information about safety of this drug. Of course, it's a lot of records related to this. Let's go back to our slides. For comprehensive search, you need to identify potential relevant literature, then exclude literature that is not relevant by some reason. Also retrieve literature for more detailed assessment that need to be analyzed more detailed, and exclude from this some clinical evaluation, some literature that is not relevant. And as a result, you will have literature with relevant usable data included included in clinical evaluation, and include information about efficacy, safety, and comparability. Other instrument that I want to show you, it's automatic search. All the requests that you are, all the queries that you're entering to Embase can be saved in the database, but only one restriction here. You need to enter and log in, enter login and password into the database in Embase, the same login and password that you're usually using in other Elsevier databases like Scopus, ScienceDirect, Reaxys, Scival. It's you don't need to remember a lot of passwords. The same password that you use in ScienceDirect you can use in Embase, and then you will be able to go to result. To save your query to the database. Here you can click set email alert, and you make give the name to alert give the comments that will explain you in future what is this alert, and system will every week will send you alert about by this request, analyze all the results, and if database will find new information relevant to you by this request, you will be receiving information by the email. Also, you need to enter, of course, your email address here. This instrument is can really help you. Also, you can these alerts can be saved to your Outlook database, and you can see the history of your alerts. Okay, let's. I want to show you several samples. How to find clinical trials in Embase. There is several ways to do this. First, for example, we are trying to find information, clinical trials related to monoclonal antibodies. Let's better to do it in M3. Here, you're going to M3 and enter monoclonal antibody. But database find it in M3. Take this query into drug search. And here, you can easily go to drug subheading and find here clinical trials. Here, and click to search. And only clinical trials will be in results. Or is another possibility to do the same things, but if you want to find for example, controlled clinical trials or randomized clinical trials, you can make marks here. Also, you can add to result, for example, meta-analysis, systematic reviews, and Cochrane reviews. All these filters are available, and it will be really help you to find these reviews and spend less time to find of information and not spending times to reading all the articles and really concentrate your attention to reading only reviews. How to find information about roads. It's also very, very simple. Going to drugs, for example, entering here. Might be not good sample, okay. Some drug, and also here is the subheading related to roads. Here you can mark oral drug administration, interarterial drug administration, and other things, and you can easily filter it by the road if you need. Okay, let's switch to another sample. Switch to, for example, you trying to find you're trying to find some innovative treatment and how to find this information in Embase. For example, you're trying to find some new indication for rituximab. Let's go to the, filter drugs, enter it here, and use this our instrument, this triple indexing, going to details, going to drug therapy, and here all the indications that has rituximab that extracted from all the articles. Here you will find not only registered indication, but also not registered of target indications will be also here. Sorry. It's waiting a little bit too long time. Let's try again. I will show you it on slide. Here's the known off-label use and new off-label use. All these things you can extract from the database. For here in other drug, everolimus, but the same story. You click on everolimus, drug therapy, and then you can find all the indication. And you're trying to understand, is it good to use it for treatment of tuberous sclerosis. You can easily extract the number of publications every year, how much of publications was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and compare it by the different indications with for this drug, compare it with this information with other drugs, and make your decision. Is it reasonable to do this or not? Because all this information will give you. You will easily see how much document published about this, how number of does number of publication increasing. You can export it and analyze in Excel file, and you can use it for your estimation. And it will be help in your decision makers to to use it not, for example, this drug everolimus against tuberous sclerosis, or it's a good it is not a good idea. Here is a filter by clinical trials. As I was telling you, all the information that you find in Embase, you can export into the Excel and analyze it in Excel. It's very easy to do this. You can just click on result and export, or go to drugs, or to subheadings, or some other filter, and also you can easily export this information, because export you will find everywhere in Embase. I'm very sorry, Embase is working now a little bit slowly. And here you can export it. It will take some time. I don't want to click on this, but if I will click, all this information will be immediately exported, and you can use it in your research and in your for your needs. And it for any filter, it's working depending from the result, because this information extracted exactly from these records. Also, I want to show you. I want to show you some tips. You can use comma in your request. You can use question mark and multiplication sign as normal, as you usually using in your request. And also, for example, how to you can use different logic operator like or, not, or even next, and or near in your request. I want to show you how it's working. Today we was working in the databases and doing several requests. I will delete this one because it's too big. All these requests that I see in the history, I can combine with different logic operator. For example, I can use any logic to combine my requests, and using logic or logic and combine different requests, different queries. And also, if needed, I can use logic next. It means that first word will be in the request. The second word will be in the request next after the first word. It will give you more relevant result. Or also use near. If you will enter near, database will analyze full text of article and find two articles where these two words are near to each other. It also will help you find more relevant result. For example, you can 1 million result that you will never able to analyze. This logic near will help you to find articles where words are near to each others, and will help you to find relevant information. Database in Embase, there are a lot of different information. For example, there is an information in dentistry. If you want to find this information, you just click on M3 and type dentistry and click on search. You will find a lot of different things in dentistry. Yeah, for example, you can easily find information about device trade names, device manufacturers relevant to dentistry, orthodontic devices. You can, if you will go to filter drugs and filter devices, sorry, you will find it. And you can use drug subheading to find also information about drugs that used in dentistry. You will find all the things on the slide that I will that you will download from the Research Academy. A lot of different things existing in Embase, for example, information about resistance to antibiotics and a lot of other things. Okay. What is also important that I want to say, database in database included translation in different languages. And if you're working with Embase, you can choose your language and choose directly in browsers change it to Arabic, for example. And even if more comfortable for you working with Arabic in this document in Arabic, it will be automatically translated to Arabic language. It will be more comfortable for you working with this document for sure. Let's switch back to English because I'm not reading in Arabic. And even if we will switch to Arabic, even we will click to document. It will be also a lot of information translated to Arabic that will help not only name of article but also abstracts. But terms will be any case in English. What is also very important when you're working with in Embase with document, you very often you don't you really spend much less time on reading of the documents, because directly from the Embase you see everything. You see the not only abstracts but also drug terms. Here all the drugs that was extracted, information about these drugs was extracted from this article, and also all you can see all diseases that existing in this document, and also other terms. And all this information was extracted by specialists with biomedical education. It means that you have now understanding what is in this document. Are you really need to spend your time to read it or not? And you have full picture. Is it relevant document for you or not? Or to read it, analyze it, go to full text, or better to spend your time on some other document that is more relevant for you. Okay, let's switch back to English because it's a little bit difficult for me. Yes, you can to click on button full text on published website or not, because here you can see a lot of different things that will give you understanding about this article or meta-analysis or document that you found in Embase. We have some time. I want more or less all samples that I wanted to show you into the Embase. I want to show you a couple of things from very useful things from our database from ScienceDirect that will show you in creating document, writing articles, and doing systematic reviews. Now in ScienceDirect, the existing no new instruments for showing of the information and publication of content, and several new ways of publication of your content. For example, it's interactive plots that giving more better view on the information, and readers will be able to analyze the information better. For example, the author also uploads the data in CSV format in the complying article data, and this data automatically converted into the interactive chart with ability to show download source data and check values directly in the article. It's really a good interactive way to show your information to other readers that now available in ScienceDirect if you're publishing in Elsevier magazines. Also available interactive 3D models, and it also now possible to publish 3D models in ScienceDirect. Also, for example, here you can this sample show you possibility of download high resolution slide and of virtual microscope directly into the into your article that will be available for readers and give to them more interactivity. Also, now you're able to make audio slides and make short 5-minute presentation which show authors which explain the issue to other people. And now, and also a couple of words about Mendeley database. Now it's now you can open your critical data to other authors. For example, very often you have some clinical data about safety or about comparison of different drugs, or about efficacy, or about some other information, but you're not planning to publish article about this. You don't have time for this. Now you can publish, but now you can publish this data in a Mendeley data repository, and other authors will be able to read and analyze this data, and of course it will increase your citation. It's a really good way to share your data with others, and a very safe way to share your data with other authors. I have 10 minutes to the end, and I again want to show you this slide, how you get your certificates. Just use this link. I will send you this link in the chat. Just use this link in this webinar code to get your certificates from participation from today's webinar, and also additional materials, slides of the presentation. And I think now is a good time to answer the questions. Does Embase support data about article under publications? Yes, you will find the future articles that in the publication process that will be published in the future. When can I find the recording of this webinar, please? It will be available on Facebook on the Elsevier Africa website, and also available on by the link that Andrei Khudoshin was showing. Please need a demo how to find webinars on the website, Embase website. Andrei, can you help me? Can you please give this link to the landing page where our visitors can get records of our webinars?
Yes, sure. I just send it to the chat.
Great.
And what I see, the colleagues ask us about the code for getting certificate. Can you show this slide again? And colleagues, everybody, I see that there might be some questions, and we finished with the demonstrational part and with training part, and now we would be happy to answer your questions. So if you have any questions right now, for example, how to find adverse drug reactions for some drugs, or which drugs was used for this disease or some other disease, we can try to show it right now because we still have some time. Thank you.
Some question in Arabic. Khalid, might be you can translate for us.
Alexei, I see the very nice question. Can we use Embase for other modalities, like stem cell therapy? I think it's a good question. Can you show the Embase capabilities related to this? Colleagues, again, unfortunately,
I cannot hear you. Your voice is interrupting. I'm sorry. Might you can write to chat. Can we use Embase for modalities like stem cell therapy? Okay. Let's try to do this stem cell therapy. So let's try quick search. Stem cell. Yes, it's existing in M3. Let's try to find here, here it's about 500,000 records about stem cell, and what do you? And now you we can try to find everything related to the therapy. Here the drugs that extracted from this 500,000 records related that was used for the therapy. For example, we find some drug, cyclosporine, for example, and trying to find indication this cell for this drug, there is no this indication. Okay, here we can find all the drugs related to stem cell, and that related that extracted from these records. Here all the drug related to stem cell. Also, we can find devices that also useful for this. Also, we can find information about age of patients. And also, if we need, we can find information about drug manufacturers, trade names, and other things that can help us. And device trade names and device manufacturers. Also, for every drug, we can find everything that we need for adverse drug reactions that are related only for stem cell, and also drug comparison and other things. And all these triple links will be related to stem cells. What is the really benefit of Embase? These triple links extracted individually from every different result. Andrei, are you here? You was suggested.
Yes, I'm here.
You was suggested some question.
Yeah. I think this question about stem cell therapy is really very interesting question. And what I found in Embase that for stem cell therapy, we have specific term, which is stem cell transplantation. So if you go to M3 and will type the stem cell therapy, it will suggest you.
Right, to be, we can share your screen, or
just type therapy after the cell.
Yes, stem cell transplantation.
I suggest this one would be more relevant.
Yes, system of hints that integrated into the Embase, very often giving you better terms that usually people using worldwide more often. Until it will also can help you. Can you show how to search drug-drug interactions? Yes, let's go back to rituximab, for example. Here, drugs, rituximab, we can go to rituximab or other drugs that we are interested, click on rituximab, and then drug interactions here. And here it extracted all information about drug-drug interactions. Which drug are interacted with rituximab? For example, at first position is fludarabine. We can click on it and click on apply. And here from several thousand records, we will filter only relevant for drug-drug interaction between fludarabine and rituximab. Another question, clinical trials again. No problem. Going to search, for example, again to drug, enter to drug. sorry, rituximab or some other drug. No, paracetamol or some other. And also you can click on drug subheading and click on clinical trials, and you will filter only information about clinical trials. And additional filter is EMB, evidence-based medicine. You can click here and also click on controlled clinical trials, randomized clinical trials, Cochrane reviews, and systematic reviews. And only this document will be filtered, and you will get only this information. How to know if specific journal is indexed or not in Embase?
I see very nice question about the starting of the search. Can you give me the screen?
Mm-hmm.
The question is, when is better to start search on M3, and when should we directly go to the search? So right now you see the starting page. Technically, the search in M3 and the search in quick search is more or less very similar. What is the difference? When you doing search in quick search, you search just some specific term. For example, you can type heart attack, system recognize it as a heart infarction and advise you to use preferred terms heart infarction. This, by clicking here, you will just make a search related to infarction. What would be the difference in M3? If you start your search from M3, you doing this search heart attack, you see, first of all, you see several terms which have same words. Again, you can find the heart infarction over there. And when you click there, you can see where exactly in the taxonomy tree heart infarction is placed, in which specific branch. So from here, we see that heart infarction is a subtype of infarction. At the same time, there is several subtypes of heart infarction. For example, acute heart infarction, anterior myocardial infarction, and other one. At the same time, the heart infarction is a subtype of ischemic heart disease. If you know and if you are sure what exactly you want to search, you can start from the quick search. But if you not fully sure what exactly you are searching, you can try to start from M3, because from here you see, for example, several subtypes of infarction, and browsing them, you can understand, oh, no, I don't need to have 400,000 records about heart infarction. I would enough 75,000 records about acute heart infarction, because acute heart infarction is exactly the type of infarction which I'm interested in. It's first difference between the quick search and empty search. And also, I don't know if Alexey show you, I prefer, so, you know, the Embase is very flexible tool, and there is a lot of different workflows how to use it. And there is nothing like ideal workflow, the best workflow, but someone prefer different workflows. What I prefer, if I interested in clinical trials, of some particular drug, clinical trials of some particular drug, I like to use drug subheadings. What do I mean? From the starting page, you need to click here, drugs, and now you see the drug search window. Over there, you see drug subheadings. There is some specific subheading, and one of them is clinical trial. For example, clinical trial of trastuzumab. What is the beauty of this subheading? First of all, you can select some of them. You can select some of them. If you are interested in adverse drug reaction, which was found during the clinical trials, for example, you can choose like this and select end, because you need both clinical trials of trastuzumab and adverse drug reaction of trastuzumab. If you would like to get or drug combination or drug comparison, you can select other subheading and choose operator or end. Other very interesting thing is roads, because in Embase there is 47 different rows for drug, and this is unique information which can help you with drug repositioning. For example, you know that one or another drug is everywhere used as for oral drug administration. What you can do is to choose another routes of administration, but remove oral drug administration, and see if there is some cases when it was used, maybe the efficiency was better, or maybe it helped to avoid some adverse drug reaction. So you can compare the typical practice and specific practice. And coming back to clinical trial, if you click here and click trastuzumab, you will find all articles which have reference and number of some specific clinical trials. Where it is, you need to click on the title of the document. So we found more than 5,000 records related to clinical trials of trastuzumab. You need to click the title of the document and scroll down. And over there, you see clinical trial numbers. So this is clinical trials which are registered in several clinical trial databases. It's not only ClinicalTrials.gov. For some articles, I found another databases as well. I hope this answers the question.
Another good question, can Embase have a role in the field of natural products? Andrei, can you give me possibility to share my screen?
While you're showing, I also see very good question. I want to ask about the access to Embase. Is it available only via EKB or through any other search engines like Google or directly from Elsevier? This is the key point. The Embase provide the value for you by several points. One of them is unique search interface with filter, with taxonometry, with all subheadings, etc., etc., etc. And it is available only on the Embase website. This website is not freely available right now for the Egyptian customer, for the Egyptian researchers. Like we explained in the beginning, the access is open, and it is open till the end of July. If you will find Embase useful, you can ask your colleagues to send suggestions to EKB to have longer access to Embase. And if you really want to do it, I encourage you, first of all, to write official letter, and is as high as the signature would be, for example, dean or vice dean or vice rector, it would be better. Yes, Alexei, please go on with natural products.
Thank you, Andrei. Natural products. If you want to find everything related to natural products, I think it's a good way to use also M3 taxonomy. You can go to taxonomy and enter natural products, and it giving you a hint, natural products and the derivatives. And here really huge of information, more than 16 million records. Everything is here. Natural organic match, natural products. I think the plant products and other things. You can really use this filter and also trying to find more relevant for you peptides, pigments, for example, plant medical products. If you want, click on plant medical products, and also we will see plant medical products here, and really hundreds of plant medical products you will find here. Depending what you need, you really can find a lot related to natural products in Embase. Or it's active ingredient or not active ingredient, everything you will find here.
And if we are discussing natural products, I also suggest to take into consideration the chemical database Reaccess, and watch one of the webinars which we shown previously, but to get more details how to use it in general. But right now I can show you some small use case. For example, in Reaccess, you can find the active molecules which was found in some specific plants, for example. To get this information, again, Reaccess and Embase, both of them are available via EKB right now. And if you're interested to find, for example, what kind of active molecules was found in chamomile, what you need to do, you need to open Reaccess, click here, Query Builder, go there to searchable fields. And there is specific searchable fields isolated from natural sources. So let's open it and type chamomile. With this, we should find all substances which was found in this plant, chamomile. So as you see, chamomile oil, Roman chamomile. And also there is a question about the author search in Embase. Can you explain about it, Alexei?
Sorry, I missed. I was preparing to.
Author search.
Author search, of course. On every result, you can find the authors of the every article. Also, if if you want to find the organization of it's not possible to find it in Embase, it's better to use Scopus and institution for, if you want to find more about this author. Also, you can find information about also in quick search available search by author. You can enter also right here.
Here is it. I'm showing right now the author search in the quick search. So here it is exactly the author name. You just need to type the author name and you would be able to search by author even in Embase. I also see very interesting question about mesh terms, and it's very interesting question. I highly appreciate that you ask it, because all mesh terms are connected to M3 terms. So if you know some mesh terms, you can start to use them from the quick search. Unfortunately, I'm not aware about mesh term because I'm using Embase, and the Embase will suggest you the terms from Embase, or even from both, from quick search, from M3. So if you have your own terminology, and if it is mesh, you can use it in Embase. It's very flexible. And also, I see the question about drug abuse. So I think such information also available in Embase. And let's try to search something for this in M3. So let's type drug abuse. The second option, here it is, for example, this one, drug abuse. And when we found something, we can go down and see synonyms and see explanation. So abuse, drug, chronic abuse. I think it's if it's about addiction, it's exactly what we need. And we can see several types of drug abuse in M3. I hope this answers the question. Any other questions, colleagues?
Webinars on Facebook page are permanent. I think it's a question to Khalid, because he is sharing information on Facebook. Khalid, are you here? As I know, they are permanent because I on the Africa Facebook, Elsevier Africa page, I see a lot of previous previous webinars that was organized by us, by Elsevier, and by other organizations. When will the certificate available? They're available right now. You just need to go to Research Academy, enter webinar code, and fill short survey, and you will get certificates.
Can you show the presentation slides with the link and with the code again?
Just a moment. Here is a link, researchacademy.com/workshop, and enter
Can
the
you
claim.
send it to chat together with code?
Yes.
Colleagues, we are very, highly appreciate your questions. Do you have any other questions? Because if there would be no questions, we will finish the webinar very soon. There is very interesting question, which sounds like this. What would be the difference between explode and as major focus? Can you show me the screen, Alexei?
Mm.
When you did any search, the articles which you found are quite different. What do I mean? Some of the articles really focused on some specific topic, and the major focus of them is limited. Some of the topics have, some of the articles discuss a lot of different topics, and this functionality as major focus or explode can help you to focus only on the articles which have specific major focus. For example, this article, as you see, there is drug terms, a lot of drug terms, but some of them are highlighted, lapatinib and trastuzumab. The other drug terms are not highlighted. These drug terms are highlighted because they are major focus of the article. So it means that if you're interested in this drug, you need to pay additional attention to these articles. Let's go to the drug functionality, and over there you see some options as broadly as possible if you need the most comprehensive results as possible. Trastuzumab. Or another option is limit terms indexed in the article as major focus. Let's try to limit only to the articles which are major focus. What you see, there is only 8,000 articles where trastuzumab is major focus, but there is 40,000 articles where trastuzumab is indexed. And if we go back and do the search as broad as possible, what we will get? We will find some more articles even compared to where trastuzumab is indexed. So what is the difference between this one and this one? The difference is that with this search, first part, before or, it will find all articles where the entry term trastuzumab is indexed. The second part of the search, trastuzumab in slashes, will show contextually for any articles where this combination of the letters appear. So you can type whatever you want. If you would like to search for it, you can use it. So you can search not only something linked to the taxonomy, you can search context search as well. And this search comparing to this one, add free text search for you. Is there any other questions, colleagues? Alexei, let's wait for a couple of minutes, maybe someone typing questions for us. And I think you can show the page with certificates. Or if you have something in mind, you can explain something else, something interesting.
Yeah, I think, Andrei, you already answered on question regarding mesh. As I understand, but I want to add that all mesh terms are included into the Embase in M3 taxonomy. You can, of course, use mesh terms in M3 and you will find the information, but of course, they are not same taxonomy, but terms, you will find mesh terms also in Embase. Okay, I will show you the picture with from where you can get certificates. Again, you can download slide of the presentation and your certificates from researchacademy.com/workshop and using this code ESNGA. For natural question for natural products, is any books for identification of marine species available? We need to try, because a lot, as I was showing you, there are a lot of branches in native products.
In Reaxis, we have taxonomy of species, including marine species. Can you suggest something for us, because we are not expert in marine species, and if you can suggest something, we can try to search in Embase right now. Algae. Okay, let's try to search for it. Alexei, can you give me the screen?
Mm-hmm.
So in M3, I type algae, and the taxonomy tree suggests me several terms. So you see it said that preferred term is alga. I also see algal community, algal extract, algal virus, and you can browse it and even anti-algal activity. So depend on what exactly you need, you can choose. For example, if you are interested in this species, you can just click it, and you see that in taxonomy by organism, we have alga and have a lot of different subtypes of alga. For example, diatomic. We can go to diatomic, and we will, as a result, we will find 6,500 disease articles, and you can go to the filters, for example, and see the disease terms which was found in these articles, Also, there is floating subheadings. So it's exactly the subheadings about which Alexei told. If they appear somewhere in the articles, you can see them. And also very interesting feature is index miner. You can click it, and you will see statistically by occurrence all index terms which appear in these articles. So it's like diatomic algae, non-human research, also physiology, for example, photosynthesis, seawater, and a lot of different terms. So what you can do with this, if you understand that you are more interested in phytoplankton and water quality. You can select these terms. Again, you can choose or and now it will have dramatic impact, because if you choose and or, it will end them to your query, and you will broadly search for diatomic alga or phytoplankton or water quality. So the search result number of papers significantly increased from 6,000 to 50,000. And what we did right now, we just use indexed miner to broad understand some search results and search capabilities. Any other question?
Okay,
Hello, Andrea and
yes.
Hello, Andrea and Alexei. I just wanted to run a bit of a short demo, since we're receiving repeated questions and some people are unable to get to the resources and the certificate on Researcher Academy. So after the Q&A, I believe I can share my screen and show step by step how people can get to the resources as well as the certificates. Okay.
Yes, sure.
So do you? So do you want to run it now or after you finish the Q&A?
Yes, please show it right now.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. So what we have been trying to tell you a bit earlier is to use the website researcheracademy.elsevier.com/workshop. And the very first step that you would need to do is to actually make sure that you have an account on researcheracademy.com. I would strongly recommend that if you are using your browser, sometimes some browser configurations can cause a bit of some errors to occur. What I would recommend if you are facing any errors within the step is to use in private window. If you are using a browser like Firefox or Opera or Microsoft Edge or Explorer, you would click on, you will press on your keyboard Control-Shift-P, P as in pen. Or if you're using something like Chrome, you would use Incognito, which is Control-Shift-N, N for Nigeria. So in either cases, the first thing, so after using your in private browsing or your incognito window, you'll have to make sure that you are signed in, and to sign into researcheracademy.com in general. So it has a lot of free courses and free trainings for researchers. So you need to make sure that you're signed in. To press that little individual you see here, and you should start your sign-in process. It is the same email and password that's used along all Elsevier solutions. So it's the same username and password you can create to run alerts or to have a personalized experience on Embase or Reaccess or other Elsevier solutions like ScienceDirect, Scopus, Clinical Key. So they all use the same username, the same email and password. So here I will have to put in my email. If the email already exists in any Elsevier solution, I'll be asked for the same password. If the email does not exist, I will be automatically asked to sign up. I'll have to put in my first name, my last name, and my password. And to be sent a confirmation email to log in. Once I have logged in, which as you can see here, it should show my name the same way it should appear on the certificate. So on researcheracademy.elsevier.com/workshop, I will put in the workshop code, which is as what you can see on screen. I click on submit. I'll be taken directly to the workshop page, as well as it will pop up a survey. If I finish this survey, I will get my certificate from Elsevier. So it's 6 questions. All the questions are like giving a mark out of 10. So if I click on start here, so I can collect, if I agree completely with the sentence, I should put 10. If I completely disagree, I should put 1, and it's a scale in between. So the first 5 questions are like this. It's a statement and you decide whether or not you agree. The 6th question is a question which is asking you what do you need to be covered in our upcoming trainings and webinars. What do you like to know more about? It's a text question. You have to insert any text to get through. Please help us to help you by providing us useful suggestions for what should be covered in our upcoming webinars. However, any text starting from a single space is acceptable. And you click on next. At the end, you should be able to download your PDF for the certificate in your name. A few points that are really important. If you are not downloading the certificate at the time, you can always go back to your account on Researcher Academy and download the certificate at any other time as well. Also, I can skip the survey if I don't want the certificate or I want to claim it later. You can see here the certificate, the information, the presentation deck. This is the presentation that was used by Dr. Alexei and Dr. Andre during today's presentation. There are other downloads as well, as you can see here, and links to resources as well. If you want to go back, you can also reclaim your certificate again. If you click on here and you put in the 6-letter code, which you have seen a bit earlier on the screen, starting with the letter V, and you can claim the certificate again. Just few points because we received questions about this. Please make sure that the name you see here, it's gonna be the same name you're gonna see on the certificate. It works best if you use first name and last name format. Using longer formats can lead to your name not being displayed properly. So I don't have my official quadruple name here. You don't need it really, just need the first name and the last name. They should work best like that. Also, you can always get to your account and make sure you adjust your profile, see all the certificates you have, whether they are from online webinars on Researcher Academy or on-campus sessions. You can also edit your account and make sure that all the details you have here are correct. You can edit settings, and you can which also you can edit your display name if you see any issues with your display name that you can see here as well. So that should be a quick overview for how do you get your certificate and how do you handle Elsevier Researcher Academy and how you can download the resources from there.
Khalid, I'm sorry. I was showing to the participant wrong claim code.
Okay. I just sent correct code to the chat. This one, JTMSKH. And
okay, so
I
just
see
let me. Yeah. So just let me redo it. If the code pertains to another workshop, then I believe we have to correct it. So just, so these are my account details I was showing you a bit earlier. I can control my display name from here, and I can go back to researcheracademy.elsevier.com/workshop. Sorry, that's not the one. So that's the one. If I enter the code, so it's JTMSKH. So that's the correct code. And I click on submit. Yes, that's today's webinar. And you can always check the title that you have here. You can go through the survey to download the certificate, to get your certificate, or you can go for the materials directly, as you can see here. So that's the presentation for today, Embase for EKB clinical.pdf. These are different downloads that you can find useful, including the indexing guide, because there were some questions on indexation. Embase, some other resources. And you can put in the certificate, if you put in the code again here, so JTMSKH, you should be able to download the certificate or go through the survey if you have skipped it the first time. I believe that should cover it. So just remember that this is the code you should use for this workshop. JTM SKH. So you can take a screenshot for this one, or if we go again to researcheracademy.com/workshop, I believe this will be a more useful screenshot. So JTMSKH. And if you take a screenshot for this one, so it has the link you should use and the code you should use as well. So please, if you can, take a screenshot for this one, and it should help you with this.
Can you send the link to the chat?
Yes, I will put in the link. I will put in also.
The code is already there.
Yeah, I'll put in the link, and just to have them in one place so people can copy and paste it directly as well.
Can you give me the screen, because I see another question.
Yes.
Is it possible to search for certain term within the search results obtained? Oh, it's a very nice question, and I want to show you. So, for example, we found something over there, and we want to go deeper and found something in these search results. In Embase, you can do it very easily. As you see in the history, each query have its own name. So what you need to do is just to type #9 and, for example, aspirin. And with this, you will search for all articles which cover all results of search number 9 and acetyl salicylic acid. And there is only 20 articles like this. And Khalid, I also see the question which maybe you can address better. Could I have my quadruple name on a certificate?
I wouldn't recommend having quadruple names, because you can run out of character limit and your certificate will not be displayed properly. If it runs out of character limit, Researcher Academy would start taking off middle names. So in general, in terms of in the entire academic community, we usually use our first names and last name, and middle names, if they need to be, we usually use them as we just put an acronym for it, or just a middle name, just a letter. I would not recommend trying to have the quadruple name on the certificate. It works if the names are short, but then again, if you issue a certificate, you cannot modify the name or the certificate after it is issued unless you go to technical support to help you on the Researcher Academy with this. So I hope that answers this one.
The recording would be available on the Embase landing page in a couple of days. So right now it's not available. And colleagues, right now we have very active session. We have the more questions than we have, I wouldn't be surprised, but maybe even more than we have in all previous webinars. Today we have answered 35 questions, and please, if you still have some, just ask it. We will be happy to answer them, because we are here exactly to explain you, show you something, especially if your question is related to Embase, to biomedical research, maybe to dentistry or drug research or anything like this. Feel free to ask your questions. Maybe you have questions, some participants from previous webinar, maybe you have questions about reactions, you can ask them as well.
Also, if I may, Andre, while people bring in new questions, if you allow me to share the screen, let me show them how to find the recordings again. And how to remain in follow-up to our webinars and our different programs. So if you can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
So as you can see, so this is the landing page Andre was just mentioning for Embase. elsevierafrica.org/embase. It has all the information you need on Embase, introductions, different resources, including the quick user guide, for example, video tutorials, stories, and these are the list of upcoming webinars. I just have might be an internet connection because it's not showing an image here, but these are the titles for upcoming webinars, including today's webinar. And also you can have the webinar recordings, as you can find them here as well. And you can subscribe to our newsletter to know all the recent updates regarding Embase and Embase on EKB as well. And yeah, you can subscribe now. There is a very similar sister page for Reaccess as well. So while it's loading, also, you can follow up with Elsevier Africa on social media. So this is our YouTube channel, Elsevier Africa. As you can see it here, you can also find our videos from all our recording webinars and more. There are a lot of resources for all the webinars we've done in different languages. They are available here in one place. To keep up to date with everything we're doing, this is our Facebook page, Elsevier Africa. And also our Facebook group for interaction for all questions you have and sort. This is also our, and there is live streaming both on our Facebook page, Elsevier Africa, and the Facebook group, Elsevier Community. As you can see here, it's a public group,
Khalid,
so please feel free to join us both.
Khalid, can you put the links to YouTube channel, to our group in Facebook, to the chat?
Okay, sure. I will
I see
put
this
them
question
here. So also the landing pages. So all the links are gonna go up into chat now. And for some reason, my internet connection is not being the strongest. My apologies for this. So the Facebook page, as well as the Facebook group, the community. Yeah. So you can find all the links in the chat box now. Also, the link to the certificate and the resource page on Researcher Academy is going to show up now, as well as the code. So I hope this helps. And probably a cookies issue with my browser. My apologies for this, but there is a similar page to Embase, elsevierafrica.org/reaccess. Yes, it's working now. Also, you can find all the resources you need on Reaccess. These are all available here. If you have any questions related to any other topic with research as well, please consult with the YouTube channel. Probably we've already done a webinar. If you go through the videos or the playlists for the videos, you'll find that tons of videos, tons of webinars on different aspects of research for different fields that has been covered already. Some of those are in Arabic and Egyptian Arabic, some are in English, some are in French. These are some of the language we support, as well as the Facebook page and Facebook group. They should all be accessible to you. And remember that all the trainings related to EKB are available on ekb.eg/events. They should all be available here. It would take some time to load. I'll just type in the link for the EKB landing page as well into chat. So I hope that settles it as well. I'm gonna stop sharing screen. Also shout out to all who are following us on the Elsevier Knowledge Bank Trainers group as well. I believe we have some followers, and because I created a watch party there as well, so please join us as well.
Colleagues, is there any other questions before we finish the webinar? Just let us know. We will be happy to answer and discuss.
Let me check. So how can I contact EKB support for other webinars about other publishers? So if you go to ekb.eg, there is a button for contact us, and the email is support@ekb.eg. That in relation to anything you have to discuss with the EKB team regarding the platform itself, or any general inquiries with any of the publishers and service providers partnered with EKB. So let me check if there are other questions as well.
Looks like we answered all the questions. If no other questions, I think we can go to the end.
Let me check on. Just let me do one last final check, if I may, please.
Okay.
I see in the question that our participants send us a lot of links to us, but what is the question exactly?
So there, I'm checking also the questions on social media, questions related to how to get the slides. We've already covered. I believe they're trying to reshare the question from chat to be available on the Q&A. So just I've gone through all the other questions on social media. The only question I found was related to getting the slides. And I believe it was already covered in the demo for getting certificate and slides. So just nothing more I can see. Please, the answer of the survey does not work. If you're facing any issues with the Researcher Academy at all, please restart the entire process, but in private mode or incognito mode, Control-Shift-N. That should resolve any glitches happening with the browser itself. Control-Shift-N or Control-Shift-P for pen. Based on your browser and restart it. And with the surveys, you can just click on next, answer each question, clicking on next and finish with the last question to download your certificate. And if you are facing any issue now and you want to reset your browser or clear your cache and cookies, you can do that. Link and the certificate are going to be there. They're not going anywhere. So I believe this should cover it all. We've extended our time a bit to cover the questions coming in. Dr. Andre and Dr. Alexei, if you have anything to add.
I just want to say that I highly appreciate that our participants have found the time to be with us to participate in our webinar. I hope that the information presented during the webinar would be useful for you, and I wish you to enjoy the using Embase, to enjoy the using Reaxys, and improve the quality of research being done in Egypt. And good luck and safety for your families.